Hey guys, Jonathan here, and in today's video, I'm taking a look at the Iron Man's Laboratory Hall of Armor set that comes out April 1st, which LEGO sent me early to review, but of course, all thoughts are my own. This is a really fascinating set because it's $55 for everything you see here. Granted, there are 5 minifigs included, but these 2 Iron Man armors have come in other sets already. Aldrich Killian is only new with the torso, and Pepper Potts has a new hairpiece for the character, but everything else is, reused. So the only true new minifig here is Iron Patriot, who is a huge standout. But $55 for only 384 pieces and basically only one new minifig plus one that has a new torso is just not right, guys. This should absolutely be $40 at the most, and I just don't understand how this ended up being $55. But we're going to take a closer look at everything here, so let's get into it. So we'll take a look at each piece individually, and then we'll take a look at the minifigs. As you can see, this Iron Man armor is the Age of Ultron armor, but this set is clearly based off of Iron Man 3 with the minifigures that are included, so to not get the Mark 42 armor that appears in this movie is seriously crazy. But that being said, we've got this armor here, and you can see we've got the arms to help put Tony's armor on. But even that's kind of odd because the whole point of Iron Man 3 is him being able to call his armor to his body with those implants he puts in. So by the time Iron Man 3 rolls around, this particular mechanism isn't quite as relevant to Iron Man going forward. That being said, if we remove the minifig, I do like the base if we're basing it off of like anything prior to Iron Man 3. And then of course there's a little sticker there where you can see like an arc reactor rating, and the arms are superposable the way they move around, so I do like it quite a bit. It's just a little bit odd in the context of Iron Man 3. Along those same lines, we have this nanotech scanner, as you can see, and the play feature is that you can move this scanner to, go over the nanotech screen. But to be completely honest with you, I'm really not sure what this is supposed to be, like, directly out of the MCU, because the nanotech arc reactor here looks like the armor that he's wearing in Infinity War and Endgame, but this, again, is supposed to be based off of Iron Man 3, so it just feels a little bit odd that we've got something that isn't directly based out of Iron Man 3. Like, we don't really hear about nanotech until his new armor in Infinity War. So again, it's an interesting piece, but the piece count here, I would have rather been put toward the actual slots for the armor. So as you can see, if we were just counting piece by piece, to quote Pharrell Williams, if we were just counting pieces, the piece count is probably pretty accurate. So rather than have this, I would have rather had one more stall for the armors and, had a little bit more of the Hall of Armor built out. Now, that being said, all 3 builds are identical, and as you're going through the instructions, it tells you to build all 3 at the same time. The only thing that changes at the end is adding a coffee cup to one of them, and of course the stickers in the back, which are really cool. I lined up the Mark VI here just so you can see what it would look like with an armor there, but I'm actually going to remove it so that we can take a closer look at those stickers that are on the inside. They all look really good. Of course, we've got the armor here that we get in the set, the Age of Ultron armor, so that's pretty cool. It's the Sentry model, as you can see. Then we've got the improved Mark VI. There's no real writing on it, except up in the top left corner. And then over here to the right, you can see we've got the Infinity War armor, or it could be the Endgame armor, but either way, you could see it has the Friday operating system, and it's updating, so it's not quite ready yet. So in the timeline, that is cool and does make sense. Each pod can actually be removed, and they clip, because you've got a clip on our left side, and then a receiver on the right side, and you can actually take the roof off and you could stack them like this if you got multiples. So going back to the old Hall of Armor style sets, as you can see, these are stackable, but again, at $55 a piece, these are really, really hard to justify, especially only getting 3 slots. I mean, in the past, we've gotten Hall of Armors that were cheaper, but they had more slots than 3. I believe the least amount of slots we've ever gotten was 4 in the 2020 Iron Man Armory. But that was a much cheaper set, so it was easier to justify getting multiples of it, whereas with this one, it's the most expensive, technically price-to-piece ratio to date, if my math checks out. So that definitely makes it difficult to want to, build these and stack them and all of that. But let's take a look at the minifigs up next, and then we'll wrap up the video. All right, so up next we have the Iron Man Mark 43 as our first minifig. This is the same Iron Man Mark 43 we started getting in 2024 with the Age of Ultron sets, and of course this is the main armor that Tony wears throughout the majority of that movie. Timeline-wise, Age of Ultron is the first Iron Man appearance after Iron Man 3, and because of that, this is the first armor that Tony would have built after Iron Man 3. So, with this set being based off of that third Iron Man film, it is very odd for this to be the armor to be included, and it doesn't add any value because you can get this in a, the battle pack with the two Hydra, or the one Hydra and the two Iron Legion. It comes in the Age of Ultron slow-mo set. It's just come in lots of other places by now, so this doesn't really bring anything new or exciting to the table for the value of this set. Now, kind of along those same lines, we have the Iron Man Mark VI. We did get an Iron Man Mark VI years ago, but that was like when the MCU sets first started dropping in 2012, so it's much nicer to get one in recent memory, but this debuted just a couple months ago in the Marvel logo set. As you can see, this has the blue head underneath, because, Tony can only wear one armor at a time, but technically, we already got this minifig too in the $100 Marvel logo, which if we're comparing values for $45 more, I do think the Marvel logo is better just because at the time, a lot of those minifigs were brand new for that set, versus now the exclusivity of that Iron Man in the Marvel logo has been brought down by it being available here, so it actually kind of deters the value of both sets considering you can get this one figure in multiple places. That being said, the printing is really great on this. I love the red accenting. The hip and toe printing are really nice, but I do have to talk about the value it contributes to this set, or lack thereof, because of it being available elsewhere. Now, Pepper Potts is the same one we've been getting since 2021, except this time she has fiery red hair. This is a hairpiece that I believe has appeared elsewhere, but certainly not in the LEGO Marvel theme, so when I opened the box and dumped out the bags, I was shocked to see how fiery red this color is, but the head and the torso are the same that we've been getting for quite some time. Really, really enjoy this figure. It's nice that we've been getting it for so long, but at the same token, it's not really accurate to anything we see her wear in Iron Man 3, and it's really just laziness on LEGO's part to just give us the same figure we've been getting for years now, over again just because it's available. She does come with a stud shooter, but I don't exactly remember Pepper Potts ever picking up a gun in this, so yeah, just very, very confusing for sure. Now, for me personally, I would not consider Dummy a minifig per se, but the LEGO set considers Dummy a minifig, so we'll talk about it here. As you can see, you can kind of move the center of the body, and the arm moves up and down on that, and then you could move the front arm side to side. We do have a fire extinguisher there that adds a little bit of play value, especially when we look at who's coming up next. Alright, so Aldrich Killian is technically the first brand new minifig in this set, because as you can see, he's got that really interesting Mandarin tattoo extremis torso, and even his center abs are orange, which is pretty interesting. That didn't really jump out at me on the box art or when the set was revealed, but seeing it in person is pretty fascinating. That being said, the head is actually the same like Han Solo, and they even used this head on Hawkeye at one point, so nothing new and exciting there, which is definitely disappointing. And this hair has come in Harry Potter sets before on like a Hogwarts student, and probably somewhere in Lego City along the way, but overall, the only new thing here is the torso, which is disappointing when you consider the price of this set. You know, for $55, if all the minifigs, or at least the majority of them, were new, I could almost be like, alright, well, I get it, but considering there's really nothing new in the minifig department until our next minifig, well, there's that. But this is definitely nice to get Killian. We only ever got him in one set back in 2013, so getting him here and now is definitely a nice inclusion. And our final minifig is definitely the reason most people will be buying this set. It is the Iron Patriot. Now, we only ever got Iron Patriot in one set ever. It was actually a poly bag that was a gift with purchase exclusive when you bought the LEGO Marvel Superheroes video game over 10 years ago. So it's a very rare figure to get the original one, so this being in a retail set definitely has a lot of people excited. I will say, I do think that this makes a very good use of the new Iron Man helmet style. I think that this looks fantastic, and the light blue on the torso contrasted with the dark blue of the actual pieces it's printed on really makes this figure pop. This is actually my favorite Iron Man style armor in the entire MCU. As soon as I saw this in the trailer back in 2013, I was like, yeah, that's the one for me. I love this. So if we lift the helmet up, you can see that he's got Rhodes' head underneath, no HUD printing on the back, interestingly enough. And as we're talking about the back, this is, in my opinion, probably the least exciting gun design for the War Machine figure. As you can see, it's just this, like, 1x1 piece here with a stud, then a 1x1 stud with a hole in it that holds the gun, and then, of course, the gun is just your standard stud shooter gun. But if we're looking at him straight on, if you were to shoot this, it's going to shoot at an angle because the gun isn't facing exactly forward. I'm not going to complain about that much. I do think it looks pretty good, to be honest with you, and I do like that we've got some artillery there for Iron Patriot, but on that same token, it's my least favorite gun we've ever gotten for a War Machine style figure to date. I'll go ahead and lift the head up too, so that you can see what it looks like underneath with the printing there, and I'll put the helmet on for full context, so we do get a great back print on this as well, and I really like it a lot. And the final thing to look at is the Igor armor. And this is one that's fascinating to me because from certain angles I really like it, and then from certain other angles I'm like, ugh, I'm not so sure about that. One interesting thing is that the face piece is actually printed on, but the arc reactor and the stickers on the arms and legs are all just that, they're stickers. But I'll go ahead and show you that we lift up this part, and then we take an Iron Man minifig, and you kind of stick his feet to the back there. Then you actually got to push his arms down. Then you close it up, and he fits inside just like that. So that's interesting, but, you know, the face can be pushed out a little bit forward like that, or you can push it down, whatever you need to do. You can kind of see Iron Man in there piloting. That doesn't super bother me, but let's push the face forward so you can see. We have ball joints on the shoulders that move. The arms are built on that standard mech, you know, fixed joint there, so you can't move the elbows. I do like that the fingers are kind of curled, and then we've got the thumb there, so it could feasibly, like, pick something up, like a pipe or something like that. Then at the legs, we can move at the hip as well as the knee. The feet look just a little bit small to me, but again, just from certain angles, I like it more than others, but I do think that this is a pretty solid build. I'm not sure that I like it more than the one we got in 2019 from the Avengers Endgame version of the Iron Man Hall of Armor, but I do like it quite a bit, and if you don't have that one, this one definitely does the trick. So that being said, let's zoom out, and I'll give you my final thoughts on this set. Alright guys, like I said, there are a lot of individual things about this set that I do think work well and are good, but when we look at the entire thing as an aggregate, I just can't see a reality where this is worth $55 at full price. So, if you're interested in this, I definitely recommend picking it up on sale when it inevitably goes on sale, as all LEGO sets do, but I just can't in good conscience tell you that this is one to pick up day one. But let me know what you guys think. Be sure to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video.